Zorg and Betty begin a heated affair at the ridge of a run-down holiday resort where Zorg is employed as a handyman. Betty is unique to Zorg, intensely passionate in love and hate, compassion and anger. During a heated argument, throwing his belongings around the chalet, Betty discovers Zorg's writing efforts and becomes enamored with his ability, finding herself falling in love with him due to his writing. Incredibly protective of Zorg, after pushing Zorg's exploitative boss from the balcony and setting fire to the chalet, Betty and Zorg run away to Paris on a journey to pursue Zorg's talents in writing, falling deeper in love and unfortunately deeper into mental decline and despair. This is Jean-Jacques Beineix's adaptation of the Philippe Jean novel 37.2 Degrees Le Matin, Betty Blue, starring the brilliantly outspoken Béatrice Dalle as the titular Betty, and Jean-Luc Gonglade as protagonist and tender-natured empath Zorg, Zorg itself meaning care. Betty Blue received a mixed critical reception during its initial release, yet the film continues to endure as a popular favourite of French cinema, having earned itself a BAFTA and Oscar nomination. Betty Blue's portrayals of a strengthening romantic bond between Zorg and Betty, as well as their eccentric dedications to each other, its portrayal of friendships, and the perseverance to chase after one's own dreams continue to resonate with viewers, making the film's flawed yet simplified portrayal of the complexities of mental health struggles easier to ignore. Betty Blue's initially mixed reception during its release would suggest that the film was nothing more than a crude skin flick. Roger Ebert, in his damning review of Betty Blue back in 1986, wrote that, in the old days there used to be such a thing as skin flicks, and yes, they did have a certain basic animal appeal, but they were driven out of business by porno on the one hand, so to speak, and Dynasty on the other. Now comes a throwback to the old days when the phrase French movie did not mean art, and art film didn't mean art either, and everybody knew exactly what they mean, and had their exact change counted out before they dashed up to the box office, so nobody would see them going into a dirty movie. If you can get anything more than that out of Betty Blue, consider it a bonus. While iconic film critic Roger Ebert wasn't convinced Betty Blue was much more than gratuitous scenes of sex, with its dramatic elements serving little more than cheap soapy melodrama, and many other critics shared similar views regarding Betty Blue, the film clearly resonated with the audience, and continues to retain a reputation as a popular favourite, the director's cut of the film gaining a place within the Criterion collection. While Roger Ebert unfortunately did not get much from Betty Blue, others did. The central strength for Betty Blue is the romantic bond between Zorg and Betty. Their relationship moves at the pace of a freight train, having sex each night after only knowing each other for a week. But their romantic highs demonstrate a strong compassion and empathy towards each other, and their lowest points reflect genuine concerns of many couples, anxieties that parenthood may not be attainable, that career progress is stagnating, and that one's own mental health is declining at a rapid rate. Zorg and Betty demonstrate a dedication to each other expressed in an overprotective nature. Zorg will not accept slander towards Betty despite how unpredictable and spontaneous her mental health may make her, and Betty is adamant that Zorg chases dreams of becoming a writer after falling in love with his writing ability, making proactive decisions such as typing up his manuscript for him day and night, as well as sending it to publishers for him, encouraging Zorg not to take no for an answer. Sometimes these actions of dedication verge on pure absurdity, such as when Zorg dresses as a woman to disguise himself as he robs a surveillance agency for quick cash to offer Betty anything and everything she may want or need. Zorg and Betty are generally an incredibly likeable and charismatic young couple who clearly view all the good in the world in each other, even during the film's silliest moments. Within the film's strongest scenes, this sense of love is infectious, but due to the director's cut's 3-hour running time, a few of these scenes outstay their welcome. Romantic scenes sometimes becoming meandering without a rise in dramatic stakes or conflict, a bit too nice for their own good. Nonetheless, these scenes of pleasantness and scenes of relationship turmoil certainly provide a comforting nature to the film due to the scene's relatability and the empathy we gain for these characters. However, Betty Blue is also a flawed film, its portrayal of the mental health struggles of women being outdated in relation to the present-day understanding of mental health. Betty's reactions are almost a simplified binary. She either illustrates extreme expressions of love or extreme expressions of instability Betty. Mental health struggles and reactions are genuinely more nuanced and complex than this binary Betty reflects, which is worth reminding when considering mental health representation in cinema. Betty Blue's portrayal of mental health struggle is certainly rather basic. Reinforcing this, Betty's diagnosis during an expository scene towards the film's conclusion implies she suffers solely from shock, but the diagnosis is vague enough that Betty could be struggling with depression, schizophrenia, or anything in between, where shock is a symptom. Her struggle is only exacerbated when, after the joyful anticipation that she may be pregnant despite her IUD, she discovers in actuality she isn't pregnant, motherhood evading her. While Betty's mental health decline is never played for humour, intending to be respectful of her and her struggles, scenes that depict Zorg slapping her to calm her down may be especially distressing. Slapping is an outdated and abusive method to calm someone down during intense distress. In a reinforcement of Zorg's dedication to Betty, he puts her out of her misery, disguised as a woman to protect his identity as he smothers her with a hospital pillow. He clearly loves her, but cannot bear to see her suffer any longer. It is in Zorg's success as a writer, a success he can no longer share with Betty, having his work published and his love of writing rekindled due to Betty's constant encouragement, that Zorg dedicates his writing to Betty, his continuation of his writing an ultimate sign of respect and love to the memory of Betty, although this ending can also be interpreted more pessimistically as unintentionally depicting a man's success due to the suffering of a woman, like some form of anti-muse role, which is an impression that Betty Blue's ending does leave with some critics. No matter how one interprets Betty Blue's conclusion, despite its flaws, the film aims to be a testament to the highs and lows of young love. In conclusion, Jean-Jacques Beineix's Betty Blue, while having initially earned a mixed reputation critically on its release, has over time become reclaimed as a classic of popular French cinema, despite its flaws, due to its celebration of youthful romance and the infectious joy it holds at its centre, while also aiming for relatability during Zorg and Betty's more turbulent moments. While not everyone may share in Betty's struggles, mental health struggles are more commonplace than many may expect, and to normalise the portrayal of mental health struggle takes a step in the right direction to remove the stigmatisation of mental struggle. While a flawed film, Betty Blue certainly wears its heart on its sleeve. A special thank you to my super Patreon supporters Gil, Constantine Bombelli and Victoria.